Hello. So I am back as promised, and I was going to talk about this book called Ask and It Is Given. Let's see, the long title is Ask and It Is Given Learning to Manifest Your Desires by Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks. This is not really a review per se. It's not a formal review because I have not actually finished the book. I've been listening to it on YouTube. They're free audiobook copies, I guess you could call it, of the book. So yeah, it's this book about the law of attraction, essentially. So as I was about to say in the last video, so the book is it's by Esther Hicks, I guess, technically. Um, so the funny thing about Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks is like sometimes I noticed that, and I'm not really familiar with them, but I had noticed that they'd been listed sometime as Abraham Hicks, and but it was like both of them, and I was like, okay, so like her name's Abraham, like because I remember watching a YouTube video and it said Abraham Hicks, and it's this woman talking. I'm like, is her name Abraham? But then I saw something that was like referring to both of them, Esther and Jerry, as Abraham. And I was like, what? Like, are they like a team? Like, what? Did they join forces? And was that twin? What is that? Powered Wonder Twins? Anyway. Um, and then, okay, so the book explains it, and it's even like wackier than I thought it was gonna be. So Abraham is not Esther, it's not Jerry technically. It's like a conglomeration of spirits that speak through Esther. So the book is written essentially by, and Abraham's not even one spirit. Abraham's like a bunch of spirits who like hang out together and they talk through Esther. So the book is basically written by them. They're like, I think there's even a part in the book where she's like, okay, I'm gonna like let Abraham take over now. So like the rest of the book isn't Abraham's voice. The Abrahams is so weird. And I don't want to sound judgmental because I'm getting pretty woo myself, but I don't know. I just thought that was really, I don't know. And to be like reading or listening to a book that's like written by some like ghost, I don't know. It just me out. And the book, the audiobook I'm listening to on YouTube, it's this guy, and I don't know, he sounds very like, he is some, spirit that, he'd be talking to like Simba from a cloud or something. So it's just kind of weird to have some, spirits talking to you through an audiobook. And it's interesting that they use oh my god, colloquialisms and talk about like texting and stuff. So I guess the spirits are, on it. They know what's up. So like I said, the book is about the law of attraction, which coming I've definitely listened to a lot of stuff about the law of attraction, and I've probably read stuff too. And it always sounded like kind of a nice idea. Um, it's deceptively simple. I say deceptively because it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy because you have to put yourself into a certain mindset. No, you're not laboring or anything like that, but like it takes some work to put your mind into a certain mindset. And basically the idea is to put your mind in a certain mindset so that you vibrate what you want. You're putting yourself into that feeling of having what you want, and then that feeling attracts what you want. And I've actually I think this book is probably the most convincing interpretation of the law of attraction that I have come into contact with thus far. I didn't even know that the book was going to be about the law of attraction because it was kind of just came upon it Oh my gosh, why can't I talk today? I came upon it randomly because I was watching some YouTube video from this woman that I, like to watch, and she was talking about something totally different, and so she randomly brought it up that, like, she had been meaning to read this book forever, and then it kind of came to her because it'd been sitting on her nightstand for, like, weeks, and she kept not getting around to reading it, and then YouTube recommended the audiobook to her, and she was like, "Oh, okay, I get it, that's a sign I need to, like, read this book." And so she did start reading it, and she was like, "It's, like, the best book ever." And so I literally went into it blind. I didn't know what the book was about, and so I don't know, I guess I just liked this lady so much that I was like, "Okay, I'll just, she seems to really like it." So, like, that day I found it, it's easy enough just to look it up and find it, and it's already on audiobook for free. So, it was easy just to start it. And I was like, oh, when I realized it was about law of attraction. And my first thought was really, she believes in this stuff. Because she's so, like, spiritual and everything. And I'm not saying, like, believing in the law of attraction makes you not spiritual, but I don't know, I was expecting something totally different. I thought it was gonna be more religious in the more typical sense. And, asking it is given, is sort of a biblical thing. So, yeah, I was surprised that it was about the law of attraction. And yeah, and I'm like I said, I haven't finished the book, so I'm sort of caught in the weeds of, because there's this whole section where it, like, gives you, like, what is it, 22 different exercises you can do to put your mind in the right place so you can start, manifesting things. And so it is kind of I feel like that's something that would be better to actually read in the book instead of listening to some guy, like, talk about it. It's like, a section of math problems in a textbook. It's like, oh, it's kind of exhausting listening to it instead of, just skimming over it. Although the exercises are really cool and they sound nice and fun, and, I think they referred to them as games. I totally like to do it. I'd love to, get started. But yeah, so the book is I really like it. It's interesting. And I'm reluctant to recommend things to people, and not even, like, necessarily the more esoteric things, just in general. If people are not in the right mind frame for whatever it is you're recommending, it just goes in one ear out the other, and you kind of feel like dumb for having even said anything. So I did, like, some friend, it sounded like she was sort of interested in that sort of thing, and I had recommended it to her, and, like, of course, she completely forgot what it was and was kind of like, later on, because I had referred to the book later on, she's like, "Oh, what was the name of that book?" Even though I had, like, giving her the title, the author, the link to the, video. I mean, she totally didn't pay attention. So I'm not, like, big on recommending things to people, especially something like this. And yeah, when I mentioned that it was about the law of attraction, she was like, "Oh, I don't know, it's kind of woo woo." And I was like, "Okay, never mind. You're gonna, you will remain to be stuck where you are." And but yeah, I'm not, like, big on recommending, like, anything. So I wouldn't necessarily go around recommending this to people. And it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I don't know if people are ready for this kind of stuff. And you kind of have to be on this whole, you got to be thinking on a different level to, entertain this notion. Now, I will say the one thing that bugs me about the idea, of this law of attraction thing, um, there seems to be this, I don't know, maybe it's because of the climate we're in right now or my life experiences, but there was this, and I know this idea bothers other people too, but there was this lack of personal responsibility, this feeling I was getting from the ideas in the book that, if something bad happens to a person, it's because they manifested it for themselves. Now, that is definitely spoken like somebody who does not have to deal with sexism, racism, transphobia, Islamophobia, homophobia, you name it. To think that, you know, somehow we brought racism upon ourselves because we just thought that thought is utterly ridiculous. And either Abraham is full of shit or Abraham never had to struggle in Abraham's life. Now, I'm not saying, I mean, I would say there's a possibility you could incur more racism in your life if you're always thinking about it and maybe looking for it, etc. But to say that it just sort of sprung up on you because you were thinking racist thoughts, not because you were a person of color in America or on planet Earth right now. It so a racist person, some Karens out there thinking, "Oh, well, whatever happened to George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or whatever, they must have thought those, random murdered by police thoughts, and that's just where it came, that's just how it happened." No, no. People have a responsibility for what's going on around them and what happens to other people. If you hit a person, you can't say, "Well, they manifested that." No, you hit them and you really shouldn't do that. And to think that somehow they brought it on themselves is, privileged bullshit. So that is something that's like I had to roll my eyes through that stuff. And there was even some weird, like, it almost sounded like a condemnation of people who called attention to those things. This idea of they were referring to people as like social scientists or something, or people who like study trends in society. I don't know. I can't remember what weird, vague terms they used for it, but Abraham was saying stuff like, there are people who study the ills of society and they focus more on the ills rather than, not the ills so that things won't get better because they're focused on the ills. It's like, okay, are you suggesting that social scientists, journalists, whoever not notice the bad things that are happening to people and they're somehow causing them because they've documented these things? I mean, that's kind of a weird, it's times like that where I think, I'm not so sure it was an Abraham spirit who said that. And maybe some, person with privilege on this earth, might have put that idea into the book. Not necessarily a conglomerate of holy spirits, but, whatevs. Um, so yeah, it was this kind of, I don't know, there was this sort of weird sneering tone when it came to, people who study the ills of society, like they had committed some crime themselves. Um, Maybe it's the people who call out your bullshit. Maybe that's the problem you're having. Um, I was gonna say a nice thing about the book. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, maybe it's my interpretation of the book and something I was saying to the friend that I had recommended the book to. In a way, I feel the book encourages you to sort of acknowledge if things aren't going right, because I think there's this sort of feeling that I get from a lot of law of attraction people where they're kind of like pretend like everything's great all the time, and that's A, difficult to do, and B, that's basically like lying to yourself. Um, I don't know. I didn't get that strong of a feeling that I didn't get that very strong in this book. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, something might not be what you want it to be, but you're not pretending it's not there. What you're doing is focusing on a different reality or a future reality where things are better, things are different from the way things are. It's not completely ignoring your current reality. It's just focusing on a different reality. And I appreciated that because it didn't feel like you're bullshitting yourself. It's just, yeah, things might not be the way I like them, but I'm not going to like pretend they're not happening. But at the same time, I am going to pretend they're not happening so that this other reality can, take its place. So that's nice. And also the book did say something that I've actually said, actually the book said a lot of things that I've always thought or said to myself in previous times, but I did like that the book said something about every reality, everything that's going on right now is somebody's manifestation. It's someone's dream coming true, is the way that I used to put it. I mean, literally, if you look at anything on earth, anything around you, you're looking at someone's dream coming true or manifestation coming true, especially if you're in a place with there are a lot of other people. Maybe if you're in the middle of the forest and you look at a tree, that might not necessarily have been someone's manifestation. Although the fact that the tree is there or the forest is there in that particular location, maybe that is someone's manifested wish. And but if you look, when I live in the city, or I lived in the city, and so I would literally just look around, and everywhere you looked, a house, you looked at a house, that was a manifestation. If you looked at a bridge, that was somebody's construction company, and that was an architect, and that was the city planner, and they had a wish, a feeling, a goal, and that came true, and that's the thing you're, driving on right now. So dreams do come true, and you're literally surrounded by them. So yeah, I like that idea. And I don't know, I don't feel so comfortable about going into like what I want to manifest, but I will say that there is some weird shit going down, because I have been doing these sort of manifestation, focusing on things, and stuff is moving. I will definitely say that. And yeah, I would like to say that it was because of this law of attraction. So I don't know. Also, that person on that YouTube channel who recommended this book, she had said something, maybe a couple months ago. She was talking about your ancestors, talking to your ancestors and your angels and stuff like that. And wasn't really my thing. That's not really something that I've done before. And she said something that was interesting that I had never heard before, because you sort of hear these nice little, ladies on YouTube with their crystals talking about, oh, ask your angels for this, and oh, ask your ancestors for that. And she was saying, no, you command those mofos to do, XYZ, because that is their job. I mean, she was going to speak to the manager if these people didn't do what she wanted. She was very forceful and said, no, you command them. They are sitting there waiting for you to, I mean, they're like the Maytag man, just sort of twiddling their thumbs, waiting for you to say something, to send them somewhere, to direct them somewhere, to give them chores, and they are like ready and willing to do it. So because of that, I started talking to I always call them out, my angels, my ancestors, my protective and guiding spirits. I know you might be rolling your eyes at me right now. I'm rolling my eyes at me too. But dude, like, I can't believe the kind of crazy shit that went down when I started talking to my angels and ancestors. I had this insane week where like I got this I got like a job, like literally in 1 week. I had been expecting some money, which was I thought was going to be like a stimulus check size, like $1,200, which believe me, I was very glad to have. And and it was totally unexpected, because it's this weird real estate thing in my family. And so I was fully not expecting it. I literally wasn't expecting it. And then, so I was so glad to hear that I was getting some money. And then I heard, oh, you're getting like $1,200. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that's awesome. Do you know that when I opened that envelope and looked at the check, it was $8,000? Like, what the hell? Like, it was completely unexpected. Just the fact that I was getting it in the first place, and then it turned out to be like 8 times more than what I was expecting. I almost fell over in my kitchen. It was amazing. So in that same week, I got this like crazy unexpected, I wouldn't call it a promotion in the classic sense, but I got a a reassignment in my job that was really awesome. Actually, 2 things at my job that changed for the better that I had wanted, and well, one of them I didn't even know was happening, totally unexpected. The other thing was something that I'd wanted to happen for, like, years, and it finally happened. What else happened? Oh, I found out I discovered that I had lost 20 pounds. Um, I was sure I was gaining weight. You know, everyone's always joking about gaining weight during quarantine and stuff. I was sure I was gaining weight. Positive. Thought I was getting fatter by the moment. Realized I finally weighed myself just for shits and giggles and saw that I had lost at least 20 pounds. Um, oh, and I my father's car went into my name, like, that was something that had been going on for a long time because my father didn't need his car anymore, and my sister was dragging her feet about it, and finally the car was transferred into my name that week. It was an insane week, and so, all I can say is, I'm gonna assume that there was causation that, calling to my ancestors and angels I would think had something to do with it because it was all, like, unexpected, just wonderful, cool stuff that, like, I wouldn't necessarily even think to work for or try to do myself or, it's just, like, random shit that happened to me, and it was all awesome. And, yeah, so I don't know if it's I don't know if it's talking to your ancestors, I don't know if it's law of attraction or all of the above. I'm gonna do everything. I'm covering all the bases. Yeah, it seems to be working, and, yeah, so, and that's another thing that I don't necessarily wanna go around telling people, not because it's a secret or whatever, but, like, I don't like, my friends would be like, "Oh, wow, that's great," and whatever, and it's like, I kinda wanna just say to them, "Well, maybe if you talk to your ancestors or something," you know? First of all, I'm gonna sound like a wackadoodle, but also they're just not I don't think they're gonna listen, and it just feels like, that's kind of a personal thing that I don't necessarily wanna share with people who are just gonna ignore it or discount it or whatever, you know? It's very pearls before swine, and I don't like that, so on one hand, I kind of feel like I'm being selfish not telling people about it. You guys are the first people, you not people, you non-people who are not listening. You all are the first people I'm telling about it. First time I've uttered the words out loud and, I guess that's my public service. I'm telling someone about it. Um Yeah, I mean, I don't I feel kinda bad not telling people about it because I feel like a lot of people really need it, and I don't necessarily mean, like, talking to your, fairy godmother ancestors and stuff, but I mean, like, law of attraction and stuff like that, It's like, I think it's a good thing to tell people about, but people are so not willing to listen that I don't necessarily wanna say it. Um, it's amazing what people don't It's amazing what people reject, good things that people reject. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I have this sort of tradition that where, like, on my birthday or on my mother's birthday or both, I like to give away money. I'll take out like $100 in cash and like 5 20s, 10 10s, whatever. And basically, my assignment is to give away the $100 to various people. I've never given it to just one person, although I would totally love to do that. So that's like my favorite thing to do. I love giving people money. I love giving away money. That's like that's my hobby, but I don't do it very much because I don't always have cash to give away, and nowadays you can't really. But the thing is, it's also hard because it's really awkward to walk up to people and be like, "Here, have some money." because some people are like, "Oh my god, thank you. That's great. Wow, thanks." And, they walk away merrily along. So many people, like, are suspicious and, it's just, like, kind of rude. I mean, like, it's amazing how many people will reject free money. Now, I understand that, in these foul city streets, you gotta be careful and, look out, there's gotta be a catch and blah, blah, blah. You gotta look out for yourself, but, like, and they don't know that I mean them no harm and there is no catch. I'm never gonna see them again, and I don't plan on it, you know? There's no, like, fishing line stuck to this money. I'm not gonna, like, yank them back to me. It's just amazing how much, like, not only do people say no to free money, but there's all this, like, just bad vibes from them and, like, just suspicious and sort of rude, and it's amazing. And I mean, that's people. It's amazing how many people block their own blessings, even if it is like 20 bucks. Someone will literally be like, "Here's a blessing. Here's a blessing because I just want to give it to you and it would make me feel good. Here's a free blessing." And people are like, "Nope, no, not interested." And it's the same way with it's the same way with information, good information, or I think it's good information. People are like, "No, no, I'm gonna do my thing the way I wanna do it and keep, running into this wall because it's my wall and I, you know, I wanna run into my wall the way I wanna run into it." And, I'm if you're into that sort of thing, I imagine that's probably how, the gods or spirits are looking down on us like, "This dumb fuck didn't take this $20 bill that I was literally trying to hand to them, or this blessing, this car, this job, this person, this opportunity, literally just turned it away. Oh, well, can lead a horse to water." So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go fume about this dumb Facebook thread I was talking about in the last video, because living on planet Earth is hard, especially if you're not in the majority. So, yeah, good times. Anyway, you have a lovely night and goodbye.